Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about Bitcoin ETFs once again. We had the very first day of trading. What happened exactly? We saw Bitcoin top out at 49,000, seem unstoppable, and now we're back down. So was this a success? Was it not? Did we get faked out? Or this is just the beginning? So let's prepare for what's next after this very first monumental day. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Take a look. Bitcoin, man, this morning while I was streaming, we saw Bitcoin go up and up and up and up and up, and we topped out right here, 49,000. That's the George effect, by the way. And then as soon as I got off, that's what happened. It tends to happen a lot. When I start streaming, Bitcoin starts going up. That's why it's called a George effect. But we had a really good start to the day, and now we're back to 46,000. I know it's a little disappointing to some, but let's keep in mind, this is the very first day, and it was a huge success. And I'm going to argue why. First of all, we had $4.5 billion worth of ETFs traded in the very first day. Yes, very first day. And here's the thing. I'm going to show you guys something that shows you how rare Bitcoin is and how rare it's going to get when more and more money comes into space. But first of all, $4.5 billion in the first day. That is a whole lot. And if you break it down, actually, Grayscale led the way. It could be, though, people are selling off Grayscale to buy others, but Grayscale led the way, and of course, BlackRock led the way too. And then everyone else, you could see, it dropped off pretty quick. Fidelity, ARK, and then Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, Invesco, VanGuard, and then Hashtags was the last. But anyways, 4.6, close to $5 billion traded the very first day. Bitcoin's was it the ProShares ETF from BlackRock, one of the most successful ETF launches ever in history for day one. Not the top, but it is up there. It's definitely up there. And if you consider that this is an ETF based on a digital currency that was created out of thin air roughly 15 years ago, that's a pretty major accomplishment if you think about it, okay? And BlackRock's ETF alone acquired $2 billion worth of trading volume. This was actually stated yesterday that the very first day we could see billions come in, right? That's exactly what happened. Billions upon billions upon billions. And this is just the first day. But here's the thing. Not everyone was on board. Even though the SEC gave green light to Bitcoin spot ETFs and declared that this is okay and it's properly regulated, not everyone agrees. VanGuard, their brokerage, said no. I don't even know if it's legal. I actually don't know if this is legal. If there's any lawyers out there, they should look into it. So if you have a VanGuard brokerage account, and you try to buy, say, IBIT or any Bitcoin ETFs, they will deny you and say, no, you can't buy it. And the reason being it's high volatility. And one of their spokespersons said that Bitcoin is unregulated. So obviously, they didn't get the message or the memo from the SEC, right? So yeah, you still have people that are against Bitcoin. I didn't think so, but VanGuard, the real funny, the irony of this is VanGuard, they're trying to come out with an ETF. I don't think they actually came out with one yet, but I think they're coming out with one. Yeah, and then even according to their spokesperson, even if they had their own Bitcoin spot ETF, you couldn't trade it on VanGuard's brokerage. At least that's according to the spokesperson they spoke to, right? So that's just utterly ridiculous. So again, I don't know if that's legal. And one of the reasons they said because there's high volatility and it's bad for generating long-term returns. Somehow, and I've been saying this, somehow volatility is bad for generating long-term returns, right? Well, if you held Bitcoin for 14 years, you would be up 6.7 billion percent. Even, I don't know, going back 8 years, 11,000%, even 5 years, 1,100%. You look at versus S&P, like, yeah, Bitcoin has a lot of volatility, but is S&P or gold anywhere close to the performance of Bitcoin? The answer is no. So as an investor, if you want to bet on the fastest race, of course you want to buy some spot ETFs, but VanGuard, again, is denying its customers. So there's something off with that. Again, I don't know if it's legal. But here's the thing. Even today, it seemed like it was a nothing burger. Seems like, well, Bitcoin came back down at 46, so nothing really happened, right? What's all this hype and what's all this commotion about us going to 50,000 and beyond? Well, here's the thing, and this is what people don't realize. And I tweeted this too. Coinbase today, just a single day, saw an exodus of $7.7 billion worth of Bitcoin. Okay. Where do you think they sold $7.7 billion of Bitcoin to? Not to me, not to Michael Saylor. It has to be to these fund managers because of such high volume. They probably ran out of Bitcoin. If they ran out of Bitcoin, where'd they go get it from, right? Coinbase is definitely the biggest OTC holder. So most likely, Coinbase sold $8 billion of the Bitcoin OTC. Now, when you sell OTC, it does not affect the order books. So that's why you don't see a huge pump up to 50,000 plus, right? And people have asked me, well, if these big guys keep buying OTC, how are we ever going to see Bitcoin go up? Well, the thing is, one of these days, what's going to happen is BlackRock will call up Coinbase and say, hey, I want to buy $8 billion of the Bitcoin. And Coinbase is going to say, sorry guys, sorry Larry Fink, we're out. What happens then? Then these fund managers are screwed because if they can't buy OTC, guess where they have to buy from? From spot. They have to just jump on wherever they can and buy it spot. And that will definitely drive things higher. That's what I'm saying. These exchanges, these OTC brokers, they only have so much Bitcoin. Coinbase has way more than people realize. Okay, I think last time it came out, they had like $30 billion. I think $30 or $40 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? So there's only so much they can sell. Bitcoin is scarce. It's limited. There's a set supply. Okay, so even the biggest people on earth, they can only sell so much. Michael Saylor only has about $6 billion worth of Bitcoin. Even if he wanted to sell MicroStrategy's Bitcoin, in one day he'll be out. I mean, that's what I'm telling you guys. The volume is so high. This is just on day one. Imagine if every single day these guys are trying to buy $7 billion of the Bitcoin. Man, Coinbase is going to run out in no time. And then what are they going to do, right? That's when Bitcoin really starts skyrocketing. So today was definitely a success. What we're seeing is massive amount of volume. We're seeing massive amount of Bitcoin being sold, right? And again, this is day one, and it's only the second week of 2024. So definitely don't be discouraged. It's going to be great. You just have to have some patience. And here's the thing. Even if you were discouraged, the other thing is, it wasn't a buy the rumor, sell the news event, right? We didn't dump either. So many people were calling for a big dump after hitting 48K or after opening of ETFs, and it didn't happen. Why? Because again, there's so little Bitcoin out there, so many holders are holding it. So who's really going to be dumping Bitcoin? This would be the worst, absolutely worst time to be doing it. So we're holding. And here's the other good thing. A lot of the alts held their gains today. They didn't really go down. In fact, we're still higher than just a day ago, even though we came down a little bit, even though we came back down, right? But long term, Bitcoin is still looking good. We still have a lot of room to grow. Okay, keep in mind, now that we got SPY ETFs, we're going to see Bitcoin being drained out of these exchanges. Also, in 3 more months, we're going to have the halving event. Let's not forget that. Halving events go cut the inflation down, make it harder for the miners to mine. And that means they're not going to be selling either. They're going to be selling less because it's harder to make or generate or find new Bitcoins from the blocks, right? So this all relates. Supply and demand. Supply keeps on diminishing. Demand is going to go up. And one way or another, it's going to lead Bitcoin to skyrocket, right? And even from a TA perspective, we're looking pretty darn good. And by the end of this cycle in 2025, again, that'll be where the 5 mark is, okay? We'll be at $200, $250, $300,000. So keep that in mind, right? But today was a success. Maybe not the greatest success, and maybe, because we're not above 50,000. But who knows? Tomorrow's day 2. Tomorrow's Friday. We could see a pretty significant rise tomorrow morning. Let's see what happens. Okay, now outside of Bitcoin, here's what's next. Here's something very interesting. Ethereum, and I've talked about this many times. Ethereum and its ecosystem started moving up a little bit because there's hype around Ethereum spot ETFs. We know this. Ethereum started pumping today or yesterday or today, right? Ethereum is doing good. But here's the thing. Here's one thing that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And it kind of relates to the Ethereum, but kind of not. There is a big upgrade that's coming, okay? In 6 days, this upgrade, Dankun, hopefully I didn't say that wrong, but that is coming. Well, first of all, to the testnet, then to the mainnet, right? And what does this do specifically? Nothing really for Ethereum, but it introduces a new improvement protocol called Shard Blob Transaction. And this is made for the L2s. It's a way for the L2s to store data temporarily for like 18 days. Okay. And then afterwards, you can remove it. So that means not a whole lot need to be written to the chains themselves, which will make them much cheaper and less congestion and even faster than they are now. Okay. This is in relation to all the L2s that are built on top of Ethereum. So that's what this is about. Now, why is this relevant? Well, obviously, Ethereum, their TVL is still sky high. Not only Ethereum itself, but if you add all the L2s, their TVL together, it's also sky high. It's at an all-time high. In fact, if you just add the L2s, not even Ethereum itself, just the L2s alone, they have more TVL than all the L1s out there combined. Think about that. So if you include a TVL like, say, Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, Hedera, Injective, all the major L1s out there, you put them all together, still less TVL than the L2s. And this improvement protocol is going to help the L2s become even better. So who are these L2s? Well, it's all the ones that you guys already know of, like Arbitrum, Optimism, Manta Pacific, Metis, and a few others like Mantle and others, right? Immutable X among them. So today, right? Today we brought a lot of ETF hype. Ethereum is having a good day, but also going forward, all these L2s that relate to Ethereum could be doing fantastic because of this upgrade. They have been doing well already, even over the last few months. All these L2s have been skyrocketing, right? But because of the upgrade, they could go up even more. So make sure you keep your eyes open on these. And also today, this morning, I called about ENS. ENS skyrocketed. I didn't even really know why. I thought it's just because of Ethereum hype. But actually, Vitalik made a call that all L2s should support ENS. Okay, that includes all the lists, the whole list, everything on there, and others that's not on the list, like Polygon, for example, right? So Vitalik made this call, says it's important. That's why ENS went up, but they could continue to go up as Ethereum hype builds around the ETF and other things, right? So yeah, pay attention. Pay attention to ETH. Pay attention to especially the L2s that are growing by leaps and bounds, because they could be seeing some pretty good gains in the future. All right. What project did Vitalik's mom own? Metis. And that is on the list. Metis right here. Number 4 in TVL. Almost number 3. They were at number 3. That is headed by Vitalik's mom. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's do some Q. Boy, yoit. What's your expectation, Dave, for Bitcoin at 50,000? You know, honestly, 50,000 could be right around the corner. It could come as soon as tomorrow. Like, I think we just need to have some patience. Bitcoin, again, has come up really fast, really strong because of ETF hype. We're closing in at $1 billion, $1 trillion, okay? And you know what? You got to give it some time. With how much volume is being generated right now and how much is being bought OTC, it's just a matter of time we break through, go back to tomorrow. It would not surprise me if volume is even higher. It would not surprise me to see Bitcoin make a giant move again. 47, 48, maybe 49, and then we finally hit that 50,000 mark. I mean, it really could come anytime. Anytime. Burglar. Upgrade membership. Thank you. All right. What's the next question? Sideways action until summer? No, I don't think so. No way, because the halving event is also in 3 months. So I think we're going to see Bitcoin much, much higher mid-year. Much higher. I could see Bitcoin being at 70,000 by mid-year. Ed asked about Myro, Bonk, or Snack. I like all three. I like all three. Snack is slow moving because it's on Cardano. Bonk is already big, above $1 billion, but I think that could help them in this bull run. And Myro, somewhat small, speculative, but because they're on Solana, they have a chance. So I actually like all three. Fake news was a setup to kill the momentum by SEC. I don't know. I mean, supposedly, you know, it was hacked. Maybe it was. Maybe it was a plant. Whatever. But it definitely did. It did seem like it killed a lot of momentum. Yeah, I think the SEC still needs to be investigated for that shenanigans. Dan, the crypto man. George, if $7 billion was bought OTC, would it be reflected immediately back on Bitcoin's price? No, it wouldn't. OTC is over the counter. That means Coinbase, in their reserves, they went to whoever, BlackRock, and said, okay, we're going to sell you $7 billion worth at this price. And BlackRock's like, okay. And that's it. It's not on the order books. It's not spot. Spot is where people bid on the order books, how much they want to pay and how much they want to sell. That's what drives prices up. Everything you see is from the order books on the sexes. But when you do OTC, it's not reflected on the order books. So you could sell 70 billion in OTC. It wouldn't affect Bitcoin's price. But the thing is, eventually, there's no more to be sold. So what happens when there's no more in the OTC market? Well, then these guys have to buy on the spot market, and that's when everything's just goes skyrocketing to the moon. Leo, appreciate that. Member for 17 months, long time. Thank you for that, and thank you for what you just said. Jolama says, I was talking to Polka, I think you said Polka Dot Maxi today, who not only thinks they'll get ETF, but they'll flip Solana soon. Is he blowing smoke? Yeah. He's not blowing smoke. He's just smoking something very heavily. Not only are they not going to get an ETF, they're not going to flip Solana. Can we see what's left on OTC on Glassstone? No. I don't think they know. You know, a lot of these old addresses from Coinbase, they're hidden. They did not identify who owns all these. Coinbase, I think at one point in time, I saw something. Arkham, I think Arkham like traced all the transactions and everything. And I think I remember reading an article that said Coinbase had about 30 billion in Bitcoin. I think that was the latest number. So you got to figure, give or take, they got 30 billion to sell. Lazaro, and, you know, Coinbase could just not sell it too. You know, they could just say it's not for sale, right? But because all these guys, like BlackRock is invested in Coinbase, and Coinbase is a surveillance partner and a custodian, I feel like Brian Armstrong is like compelled to sell these guys. But he could just say, no, I'm not going to sell, you know? We're out. He could. I know maybe I would have been greedy, but I won't lie. I'm a little disappointed. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get through it. 50% of my holdings are in XRP. Change my holds. I can't tell you what to do. If you're sick of underperforming XRP, then yeah, you should probably switch for something. Or just get a little bit of something else so you're not feeling that regret or FOMO. Oops, I have this order messed up here. Yeah, XRP last 60 days down 10%. That's no good. Wait, what just happened here? I just did something. I just oh, that's right. What did I just do? Okay, there we go. Let's see. I gotta catch up here. I don't have any thoughts, Chad, on H-bar. Nothing has changed. I still feel the same way. Do you truly think Coinbase will run out of OTC and cause ETFs to buy BTC? Don't they have ample amounts? I just said they have like 30 billion. They don't have like 30 trillion because there's not even 30 trillion worth of Bitcoin out there. So last time I recall, I'm going to try to look it up right now. Last time I recall, there was an article saying Coinbase has about 30 billion. Oh, yeah, I was pretty close. Here. This was September 2024. Arkham identifies that Coinbase holds the most Bitcoin on its network with identified at 25 billion in reserves. Keep in mind, that was September when Bitcoin was still at like 26,000, right? Like 20 something, September 24. So let's go back. What was Bitcoin's price September 24? September 24, Bitcoin was still at 26,000. Okay. Man, that means they have a lot. How do I do my math here? Let's just do 26,000 divided by 46,000. That's 50. No, let's do 46,000 divided by 26,000. So that's 1.77 times higher. So back then they had 25 billion. So you do 1.77 times 25. That means Coinbase has 44 billion in reserves. 44 billion. That's it. Now, maybe Arkham is wrong and they have more wallets they didn't identify, but let's just say give or take, Coinbase has maybe 50 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's why they're still selling it, because they feel like they have too much and it's good to have some cash. But after 50 billion, they just have no more to sell. You got to figure, like, if OTC really dries up, because I think a lot of people think, yeah, that's not going to happen. It's going to dry up. When these big boys, where do they go for Bitcoin? If BlackRock doesn't have enough Bitcoin in its fund, they have to go somewhere to buy it, right? They're going to pick up the phone and call Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken and try to do OTC deals. But if all these guys are like, sorry, we don't have any more, what do you think they go do? They're not just going to shut down trading of their shares. They need to replenish somehow. They have to get it somewhere. They have to buy a spot. There's nowhere else to buy it, right? And I know Gemini and Kraken, they don't have 50 billion worth of Bitcoin like Coinbase does. All right. In my hero, with institutions onboarding people via ETFs, do you see DeFi projects like Aave and Yearn struggling this bull run? It could. They could. But, then again, I just got done talking about Ethereum. Ethereum is getting hot. If Ethereum gets hot once again like before, then projects like Aave and Yearn, they will get hot as well, right? But right now it's hot based on ETF. And maybe this upgrade, right? This new upgrade could make the layer 2s even hotter because it makes them cheaper to transact. So yeah, I don't think they'll struggle, but I guess it depends on if ETH continues to be hot or not. Sunny. Maybe tomorrow. Why does Marge X show BTC 200? I don't know. Marge X is a small exchange, and they don't have as much demand as Coinbase. I never even heard of that exchange before. Two member, Wild Crypto and Augustin. Welcome, guys. What are your thoughts about Igon on Cardano Mainland Live? I remember Igon. I actually held a little bit for a while. They're like a cloud computing or decentralized computing platform. No, actually not compute, but storage. I don't think much. Decentralized storage, kind of boring. So they could do well, but generally speaking, dApps on top of Cardano don't do that well. Ivan Miles and several others are talking about Satoshi VM airdrop coming in a few days. Are you aware of it? No. Never heard of it. And they're probably seed investors or something like that. That's why they're talking about it, but never heard of it. Geo. I exchanged ETH on Gorilla meme coin and now want to get rid of exchange back on ETH, but it's giving me notification transaction will likely fail and I will lose network fee. Just refresh because there's probably not enough liquidity and the slippage. Sometimes you got to change that to make it work. You're not going to lose anything, but generally speaking, buying is easy. Buying like a new meme coin is easy, but selling is difficult. The slippage and price impact could be huge, so keep that in mind. Someone's asking about Myro. Yeah. Myro actually did pretty well today because everything on Cardano is doing. Myro's actually going up over 100 million. I think they're bigger than Snek, or they're equal to Snek. Yeah, they're pretty close. Snek had a good day today. Myro, I mean, if you look at WIF went up like 100%. So now they came back down to earth. They're up 45%, 254 million. They're kind of big. They could be the next, bonk. But Myro, they're still relatively small. I took a chance on them. I bought a little amount. I said I'll FOMO into them, and I did. But we'll see where they go. What the heck is Sui pumped today? I talked about Sui. They're again, a promising L1 out of Silicon Valley. I have no idea why they pumped today, but, a lot of the new L1s, they just see a lot of money come in. They're very backed by VCs, very heavily backed by VCs, which actually, in a lot of cases, make them pump. Very fast. Oh, I remember they said the time to finality was basically one of the fastest out there. So not only transaction per second, but time to finality. I mean, basically all the new L1s all say that, like they're the fastest chain ever. And they are very fast, but it's like a 100-lane highway with no cars on them. I mean, that's just how it is. You don't need all that quickness. But, they did really well today. Pepsi guy? No, I hate Pepsi. I just had no choice at Costco. If money doesn't grow on trees, why are banks called branches? That's a really lame dad joke. It's so lame that I had to laugh. What about Akash? Akash has been running the last few days. Okay, they took a breather today. Let's see. For last month, 70%. They are cloud computing, decentralized cloud computing within Cosmos. 20x by the end of 2025. Can they do 20x? Yeah. I mean, they're not that far off from their previous high. They still need to do a 3x to get there, right? Can they do a 10x? Sure. I think anything is possible for a 10x. Now, above 10x, that's what it may take a little bit. What does ETF mean? Google it. Okay, there is something called Google that you can use. You don't have to ask me every single thing or what every single acronym means. Mac Tegan, you retracted your message. Kimball, they are giving a new update about Kimball Net. Why don't you just tell me? If you already know what the big update is about, just tell me. I wish one sponsored by Pepsi. What do you think about Avalanche hitting $500? Yeah, it could happen. It can happen. New basketball video. If you hit 8 out of 10 threes. You know, I have not been practicing the threes. If I do every day, I think I could hit 8 out of 10 pretty easily. I've just been so busy. I've been like still moving things inside my new house. My Lego room has been a nightmare, but it's looking pretty good. So I just haven't had, and plus I was sick for a long time. I mean, there's been a lot going on. Charlie, appreciate it. Appreciate you. Derek says, you're the man. Can't wait for the halving. Yeah, that's the thing people don't realize. All this ETF news overshadowing the fact that the halving event is only 3 months away. Peter say, I got my cock in you. You guys should see my tweet. I don't know if you guys follow my Twitter. If you don't, you should. I was at Costco today. Cardiologist recommends cock 10. Ultra cock 10. That should be the next meme. Ultra cock. You see Viper on Cardano. Can you check it out? What is it? Tap Tools? Viper's not even in the top 3. Or top 6. If it's not even in the top 6 of trending coins, it's not worth checking out. And Snek is still number 1. Hunt, that's an interesting one. Do you hunt for vipers or something? Look at that logo. Josh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. There's only one Ivan, and there's only one Miles. But the reason why they're talking about the airdrop is probably because they are investors, and that's why they're talking about it. Can you look at GFY? What is GFY? It doesn't even show up. I'm about to go into a meme pretty hard next week. It's gonna be on top of Polygon. It's as funny as cocking you, but because it's Polygon, there's not that much competition. So I'll let you guys know about that one. Citizen Crypto, I hope you're sober now. If the market is only open so many hours a day, week, what happens if volatility causes the Bitcoin price to plummet? How does the ETFs go handle that? That's a good question. I don't know. There's some kind of balance. There's some kind of ratio. As the price of shares go up or down, they have to adjust based on that. There's some kind of ratio in terms of how much Bitcoin to hold, right? So that's how it works. I just don't know what that ratio is. But, this morning I talked about, like, if market closed on Friday and then Bitcoin pumps or dumps over the weekend, how are they going to adjust? They're going to figure out a way to do so. It's not pronounced Coke, okay? It's a picture of a chicken, a cock. So no, it's not pronounced Coke. What are your thoughts on Mainnet and their coin nets? Never heard of them. Or maybe I have. First of all, horrible logo, if I'm being completely honest. Second of all, circulating supply is only 13%. Not good. So bad logo, bad circulating supply. Probably, yeah, comparing yourself to BNB, ETH, and BTC, not a good look. On some not so good exchanges. That's like too many red flags right there. See, I secretly have you guys think I'm drinking Pepsi, but this is really Blue Label that I said I would drink at 50,000. Nick, you're welcome. Thoughts on Mina? I don't know anything that's going on with Mina these days. I haven't heard anything. Let's see. Well, last month performance 52%, 53. That's not bad. Let's go to their Twitter real quick. Let's see what's going on. Community Governed Innovation Fund is back. Today with 2 million Mina. Okay, that's not bad. You got a lot of these other dApps. Off-chain computation, settle one proof of correction and executing chain, all for low fee. Yeah. They're all about snapshots. Basically, Mina is all about snapshots. Why are they tweeting about office hours of this proto kit? They seem to just keep retweeting a lot of stuff. I don't see anything significant here. Let's just put it in there. You know, they're in the promising pile. Let's just put them there. GFY is go F yourself. I think it's hilarious. It's not very creative. Thoughts on Byte? They claim Justin Sun bought about 80K worth. So, why would you, first of all, trust Justin Sun? And why would you care if Justin Sun bought anything? You know, Justin Sun was the first SBF. It's just that he hasn't been caught yet. I stay far, 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 far away. I would not touch anything with a 100-foot pole that Justin Sun's... anything that he's, you know, doing. So if you said he bought Byte, I would never touch that. Justin Sun is the founder of Tron, for those people that don't know. Shortfall. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make a video on Litecoin ETF. Thanks for a suggestion. I think that video will come never. Check Kimball. Is Kimball pumping? I'm hoping you said that because it is. It is not pumping. Okay? Don't show me a meme that's not pumping. Which coin is good to do a 5 to 7 leverage long term? Of course, Bitcoin. If you're doing a 5x leverage, it's almost impossible to get liquidated. You get really high chance of getting liquidated when you go above 10. Okay, like 15x, 20x, it happens all the time. But if you're doing 5x, you want to do something long term, of course you go with the big caps, right? Like Bitcoin. It's almost impossible to get liquidated using a 5x of Bitcoin unless it drops significantly. We're talking about like, you know, over 15-20% to get liquidated. It's, you know, it doesn't happen very often. It could happen, not saying it can't happen, but you know, you got to go with the big caps, things that have low volatility. If you're picking like Bonk, for example, you know, even with a 5x, you could get liquidated immediately. So you got to stick with the big caps. Hayden just retracted message. Thoughts on miners, specifically Wolf? I don't keep track of the miners, to be honest. I just know of a few. Like their financials and stuff, and which ones had the biggest farm and all that stuff, I don't really keep track of. Why is KuCoin not available in Canada? Just like why is it not available in the US? Because you can't do KYC. All right, guys. Let's conclude. Overall today, first day, keep in mind, first day, a spot ETF. Even though many are disappointed that we're not higher, keep in mind, it's the very first day. We had huge volume, and we had $7 billion worth of Bitcoin leaving Coinbase. $7 billion. There's only so many days like today that Coinbase can handle. We figured out on air that Coinbase has about 44 billion worth of Bitcoin. So what happens when the 44 billion is gone? You do the math. All right, so smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. It'll be a happy Friday, regardless of price. Happy Friday tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good night, guys. Take care.